Hello, world. This is Hello Chaos, the podcast on innovation.
Because that's what we're going to talk about today. is Hello Chaos is the celebration,
yes,
and the exploration of the messy and chaotic worlds of entrepreneurs and founders.
yes. And entrepreneurship and innovation and innovative entrepreneurship. And that's what we're going to talk about today, actually, is this word, entrepreneurship.
Entrepreneurship, which, as we've been building out, the media products for this and having to write entrepreneurship and the business plan about 3,000 times.
Over again.
Is there not a better word?
Is
there not a better word?
I don't think there is, and that's a problem. It's a long word.
It's hard to write. Because you and I were talking about like our shorthand.
Yeah,
of,
I do E entrepreneur P. You do.
You do E apostrophe P.
I mean, yeah. Did I just say entrepreneur
P? You did. E apostrophe P. I do E ship.
Yeah.
Or E shit is what I write because being in that headspace.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were, and even talking to other entrepreneurs, most people accept that as a universal long word, entrepreneurship. But we've also encountered founders who prefer the word founder and not entrepreneur. They feel like, and that, not just in our local, community, but we've heard that nationally in other markets of it's a negative to them.
Yeah. So when you've heard the negative, I've heard it that people feel like a couple of things, that it sounds maybe almost kind of predatory, like you're an entrepreneur, so it's like some sort of like grabby and trying to like get people, some kind of industrial age capitalist or something like that.
and I've heard the negatives that I've heard of. I don't want to be called an entrepreneur. I'd rather be called a founder or an innovator, or a business owner.
Yeah.
But the negatives were that is a young 20-something.
Oh.
Who is looking as and a little bit what you said, kind of that fast grab.
Yeah.
But it's that young, someone was like, doesn't really want to work.
They just want to have an idea.
They have an idea, throw money at them. And they're really kind of personifying, I think, the unicorns.
Yeah.
Not really the reality of like the broader spectrum of who really makes up of an entrepreneur.
Okay, yeah.
And then we've also heard in kind of the negative, and it's more of a mindset of an entrepreneur. What I would say, they're not an entrepreneur, but maybe an entrepreneurial mindset, which again, terrible.
Right.
Terrible word.
Anytime you even try to modify the word, it just gets worse.
Entrepreneurship, entrepreneurial. That becomes of, and then you hear the solopreneur.
Yes, which I've used.
Which then you get, people of, I don't want to be compared. This is not me speaking. I'm saying that this is what we've heard. I don't want to be compared to that mindset because I'm building something, I'm taking risk, I'm building I'm building a business or an enterprise, and not trying to just be a part of the gig economy.
But see, and then other folks are like, I'm not. They feel like entrepreneur is like a big word, right? And so
that's like then you got people that are like, that's my badge,
right? Or it's too big for me. Like, that's another one that I've heard is they're like, well, I'm not an entrepreneur. I'm just fill in the blank. You know what I mean?
Huh.
Yeah. And then, of course, there are people who, like, they love it. That's what they call themselves.
Right.
Serial entrepreneur.
A serial entrepreneur, which we've heard, or like it's a badge of honor.
Yeah.
That's equivalent to like an innovator.
Yeah.
Founder also seems to be kind of that badge of honor of that. But I like personally, it's just to write it and use it. It's a hard word, and we have been looking for.
We implore you, audience, to help us think of other words.
What are other words that equate to it? What did you?
So I did. I pulled up free thesaurus. There's another great word. freethesaurus.com, and like these are all terrible. Okay, we've got magnate. So I think that's that like
magnate.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna go to another
That-
thesaurus. This is already bad. Impresario,
That's even a harder word.
director, executive, contractor.
A contract. Yeah.
Okay, this is a bad source.
Yeah. No.
But
Those
the
are
other speculator. See, I think that's also
a speculator.
But
I
that's
feel
got
like
that
someone has
negative-
like a little monocle. I'm speculating.
I think, yeah. I feel like that's got the kind of a snake oil vibe.
It does. That
yeah.
has a very schmarmy.
Yeah, and then financier, and it's like, no, that's who the
That's
entrepreneurs
it.
are trying to get
That's
to.
right.
All right.
Entrepreneurs need financiers.
I think I'm just gonna try thesaurus.com. Let's see, maybe.
But we love, yeah. Send in. We want to hear from you. Go to Hello Chaos Podcast on our social platforms.
Yeah, and tell us.
And
about
tell
a
us
word.
what word. Give us word, and we've heard other things like we've challenged kind of these ecosystems, these communities of like, what does it mean?
Right.
And we hear trailblazer.
Yeah.
We hear, change maker, the catalyst, disruptors.
Disruptors
is fantastic.
How do you feel about disruptors?
I think that is kind of goes in that innovation space
Mm-hmm.
but I also think that might pigeonhole and might intimidate people who have great ideas. That is not necessarily a disruptor.
Yeah.
Or it might not be innovation in what people think about innovation.
Yeah, see, my thing about disruption and disruptors is it's now been equated with innovation, and that's not the case.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes you're being innovative by actually making things work better.
Right.
You're integrating into a system, and it's not always turning everything on its head.
Right.
But that is another one that I think I've seen people claim.
Right.
Yeah,
I'm a disruptor.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
I think people are putting it on their LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Disruptor.
As goes
Thinker.
to thinker,
Which
yeah,
some people-
thinker,
which some
or
people
dreamer.
are.
And some people
Dreamer.
Dreamer is
Yeah.
is another word that we've heard of people wear, in because it's easier to put on a T-shirt than entrepreneur. That pathway of like what we call the E to E.
Oh,
the
right.
Entrepreneur
to exit.
or entrepreneur to enterprise.
Oh, okay.
But those are the pathways.
Yeah.
E to
Exit,
E,
enterprise.
exit, or enterprise.
Or just stay
Or-
small.
yeah.
Just
or-
stay small.
Well, that could be an enterprise within what you define as
That's
your enterprise.
true.
Yeah.
Enterprisers. Why isn't that on the list?
That's a nice one.
I kind of like it.
It's
Because you're enterprising.
then you can go E-prize as you're writing it.
At least it's a couple
it's
fewer.
another E apostrophe P.
Yeah.
Goes with your
Yeah. So we've
Your
still got
shortcut.
manager and executive and
No,
contractor.
I'm gonna
up
say
here.
no.
Administrator.
No.
So, I mean, this just tells me like
No, that's not how.
producer, backer, business person, founder. All right,
Yeah.
they've at least got founder on here. Yeah, so we really don't have another
No.
word.
And and it goes into as we've been building these media products and uncovering these great stories and talking with all these entrepreneurs and founders, even on the podcast. Another thing is the entrepreneurial ecosystem, which again, horrible to write when you're writing an article, like as Jen's doing the storytelling, but also as like I've been doing the pitches and the business plan, and how many times I have to write ecosystem. There's not a good word for ecosystem either.
I had a thought about this.
Okay, because I love to hear another word
Well,
for ecosystem.
well, no, it was not another word for ecosystem, but I was thinking like we could do like the like a E period, like lowercase e's for the entrepreneurial ecosystem, or like E squared, because it's two E's. I don't know. I was just thinking
You got
maybe
you got E to E, and then you got E dot E.
E dot E or E colon E.
Oh yeah.
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 Entrepreneurial ecosystem.
E to E.
Yeah.
Entrepreneur to exit. Entrepreneur to enterprise.
Exactly. So I was like, let's just get all the way nerdy, and I'm looking at the etymology of entrepreneur.
Okay.
1828, manager or promoter of theatrical production. Oh, that makes perfect sense.
Why?
Because the whole thing, I mean, you've got this vision and you're trying to sell it to your team, sell it to people who will, back you and fund you, sell it to people who will buy it. Like
That's
the whole,
true.
it's such a theatrical production.
It is a
like
theatrical.
pitching.
Yeah, pitching.
Yeah.
You're on the spot all the time.
You're on a stage half the time.
Yeah, that is
of
true.
some sort.
That's because I was,
Yeah, so it's reborrowing of French entrepreneur, which seems to be the same word, but I'm not.
Couldn't have been an Americanized.
No, I guess if you say it in italics, it's French.
Oh.
If you say it with straight letters, it's English. Apparently,
I'm not even going to attempt that accent.
Me neither. It's, one who, and that's one who undertakes or manages. So that's why manager keeps showing up.
Okay.
Also, an agent noun from Old French, entreprendre. I guess it's like entendre,
okay.
which is to undertake. So
like
the undertakers.
That's why. Okay.
Bodies, man. It's all about bodies everywhere.
Like when I think of undertaker, only real morbid visions come to my head.
It is a huge undertaking.
It is
massive. Even if it's a small business, it's a massive thing for the founder. So, and then the word first crossed the channel in late 15th century.
So this word has been around for
a hot minute,
a long time, and this is not a word that's been invented in 50 years ago. This is something
they were like, we've got it.
We're going to go back to 1898.
Yeah.
Was it 1857?
Yeah. So the 15th century is the 1600s. Yeah. And so, and that was Middle English entrepreneur. It's like O-U-R at the end.
Well, that might
But it did not stay.
Well, because people said that's too. So let's make it even more complex and put the newer.
Yeah.
That is really hard.
Maybe they didn't want to share. They wanted your entrepreneur, not our. Your. It's your business.
It's
your business.
It's entrepreneur.
Yeah.
But then it sounds like manure.
Some days, right? That's what we're talking about.
I feel like I'm swimming in
the hot manure, the hot manure minutes or moments.
The manure minutes.
Moments.
We should use that as our. What was your manure?
Yeah. Feces.
What else do you got?
That's it, man. It's just an old ass word that hasn't changed for no good reason. I think that's what we've come to.
So I would love to hear.
But now it's the time. This is the time for innovation. This is the time
that's right.
for you and me and our community to come together and innovate a new way to say, we can use entrepreneur. There's nothing wrong. It doesn't have to go all the way away.
Right.
But it's time to disrupt
the word.
The tyranny. Of the entrepreneur.
And so we'd love to hear from you. Again, come on our social channels, Hello Podcast or Hello Chaos Podcast. Yeah. Find us and
you can email.
Comment.
Yeah.
And say, hey, or not only give us other words, but tell us how you also abbreviate.
Right. If you abbreviate it.
When you're doing your elevator speeches out there,
all
founders and entrepreneurs, because you have to have that as part of your little speech. And are you a serial entrepreneur? Do you say you're a serial founder? How do you describe yourself? And when you're talking about entering into the space, do you say, I'm a part of the entrepreneurial ecosystem, or I have an entrepreneurial mindset, or how do you use that phrase? And what are your little shortcuts when you're doing shorthand?
You know what? I think people have been trying to get away from it because I think that's where all these weird titles keep coming from, like
dreamers and
no. I mean like chief, fantastic officer. Like all that kind of stuff.
Mine was like chief, get her done or
make
shit happen.
Washer.
Yeah, make shit happen.
Yeah, so people have been trying to get away
monologuer?
From it.
Is that what you said?
No, I said bottle washer.
Oh, I thought you said chief monologuer.
I have worked with some chief monologers.
Oh, that's a title.
Chief. Yeah, no, but and I also and share ones that you're seeing if you don't use them, like ones you see on LinkedIn or any crazy business cards coming your way. I want to see what these are.
We want to see them. We want to hear them.
And then we can like put them on. We can put them on the Insta. We're at Hello Chaos Podcast. At Hello Chaos.
Hello Chaos Podcast.
And then we can share them.
And we can share them. Maybe we'll even do another regroup on this podcast.
Yeah. But it's a mission. It's a thing we have to do. It's the responsible thing.
It's the responsible thing to do as part of our mission.
Yeah.
Which is to unlock and inspire the entrepreneurial spirit.
Right. And make it easier to type about. That's my job.
Hold on. Due to the
exactly
for the typewriter.
All the ink that's been wasted since the 15th century. Think about that.
Think about that. So come listen to us. Hello Chaos Podcast. It can be you
everywhere
can
you find your podcast.
Everywhere you do your podcast. You can find us in the local zines, the digital digest that we have coming out at the local level, coming to multiple markets near you.
Right in your city.
Right in your city. And and subscribe, download.
Yep.
Watch. We love, and then of course comment, like, and share. We love it.
Yeah, let's see what people have. I'm
That's
excited.
Right. Me too. Oh, and by the way, this is Jennifer Oladipo.
Oh, all day, every day.
All day, every day.
Jenno.
And I'm Jennifer Sutton. And we're the hosts of this crazy podcast. And just to give you also a little sense of who we are, so Jennifer Oladipo comes from the reporting, journalism, industry, and segment.
I had my first freelance gig. My first journalism job was when I was 16. I interviewed Edwin McCain.
Whoa.
I know, it was like he was hot back then. So now you know how old I am. And he was in town for like one special night or something and then left. And I got paid $25 and I was like, I'm official.
I got my badge.
I got my badge. I'm a journalist.
Yeah. And I'm a serial entrepreneur and founder.
That's right.
This is my now third or fourth company. So we're doing it.
Which is what, 6 months old?
Less than. Less than. We're on an accelerated speed.
Yeah.
To really serve the entrepreneur and the founder.
Yeah.
Communities, because we feel like there's a gap, and it's the storytelling aspect of what we're doing.
Yeah. So I'm excited to hear about get that feedback too. That's what we want to know is about what's going on. What do you need from the entrepreneurial ecosystem? What do you need from your communities? What do you need in your communities to help tell your stories better?
That's right.
You can send all that to those same places we mentioned a minute ago.
That's right. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you.
Bye.